So good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to all everywhere. You know who I be. I'm Tanetta Marie. Nevertheless, I am going to start this series about character. We're going to be forging our character, making us a better us. There's always things to improve about us. So y'all know I like being in my car, so I like to call them my car shenanigans, but nevertheless, let me just get into what today's topic I'm just gonna get into it. So I've been talking to people lately, and it's not that I'm asking them the question. They've actually just been talking to me about relationships, like their astonishment about other people. So I've had like a couple of guys just talking to me saying, oh man, the way men are treating these women, it's like an eye opener for them. Like, or when they're talking to women and they're hearing women say, oh, men don't do this and men don't do that, and they're going, well, dang, I do all that. And or people are writing things on the social media and men are catching wind of it, like, whoa. I'm also having conversations with some of my girls where they're having conversation like, where are these men at? And some of their experiences. I share a lot of my life, and so we've talked about the things that I've gone through and what I see in the past generations and the generations now. Now I look really, really young, and so I've earned a lot of decades, and so I've earned a lot of experience and a lot of conversation, and so I've been here for a good chunk of decades that have evolved, and I've watched relationships evolve, music evolve, clothes evolve. I've watched trends come and go and come back again, and so even the trend of dark skin is out and light skin is in, and then dark skin is in and light skin, and it just keeps revolving. And really, it's about our society and the popular people that we watch. Whatever they bring to the table is pretty much what we model. So I have some issues about that, about being our own selves, but let's just keep going on with the idea of forging our characters through the eyes of how people are seeing themselves and others. And so having these conversations with people talking about, oh, this woman, someone said, oh, there's somebody who put on there that they want a man who cooks and cleans and brings home the paycheck and takes care and does all these wonderful things. And a lot of women were responding like, who, where they at, and then that conversation with that person, it was, I'm all those things. And because I know that person, my response in my head was, no, you're not. You have the potential to be. It may be who you used to be, but that's not who you are. It may be who you aspire to be, but it's not who you are today. And so I didn't want to be totally negative because that's not my goal. So when I talked to another man and he said the same thing, he was like, oh, all these women looking for the good man, and I'm a good man. I got my together, and I got my own place. I own my home. I drive a nice car. Whoop-de-whoop whoop. I'm sitting there saying, yeah, but I know your character. And he's a really, really good friend. So it's not even like I've known him on the intimate side, but I have seen who he is. And in my perception of watching, I'm going, yeah, but that's not who she's looking for. Like, you don't even understand what she's looking for. And then vice versa. I'm listening to these women and I'm saying, well, do you cook? And a lot of women don't cook today, or what kind of conversations do you have? And they're telling me, oh, I'm every woman, I'm a good woman, I'm this, I'm that, but they're lacking some of the things that most men are looking for, not all men. As I've said, we do have an evolving society. You know, our needs are totally different from one person to the next. I have a niece who does not cook, and her husband loves to cook. So, you know, that's what works for them. So I'm not saying all people. I'm just saying there are certain qualities that a lot of men are looking for. And even though she may not cook, she has other beautiful qualities that her husband really loves that about her. And so, that being said, when we're forging through our characters, listening to both sexes, and even listening to it from the straight perspective, and I've heard it from the LGBTQ community, and these are people that I'm fairly close to, and I'm thinking, y'all don't measure up to where y'all think y'all measure up to from the outside looking in, or knowing some of your most intimate issues. So having that leverage is why I want to bring this to the table first. I don't think people know themselves as well as they think they know themselves. And so I have this thing that I do, and I don't do it on purpose. I just noticed it. And I like pink lemonade. Most folks know that about me. And so I like pink lemonade, or I like mixtures of sodas, or lemonade with a splash of Sprite, splash of Coke, whatever. It's just my thing. And I do notice that when I get close to people, whether they're my friends, female, male, boyfriends, whatever, they'll go, oh, let me try that. And then they'll keep continuing to do it. And they kind of lose themselves on their taste buds because they really haven't found who they are. So what they're doing is they're learning themselves through other people. And there's not a bad thing. The bad thing is if you're holding on to it. And it's not just relationships, like I said. I have a friend, like, she orders the same thing that I order. What are you getting? You know, our people, what are you, I'm very confident in who I am, and I am intrigued about trying new things. There are some things I just will not do, but I do like a lot of international foods and choices. And so I do get the, well, what are you going to get if you don't know Indian food? I do get, you know, at the same token, just because I like it doesn't mean that you like it. So look on the menu and see what you like. So that being said, I want you guys to look in the menu and see what you like about yourselves. There's a few tasks that I want you to do to learn who you are, and this is going to build your character in the best way possible. And we see ourselves in one or two lights. There, very few of us see ourselves as who we like to be. If we have short hair, we want long hair. If we have long hair, we want short hair. If we're dark, we want to be lighter. If we're lighter, we want to be dark. That's just the insatiable nonsense sense of who we are. You know, we want what we can't have or what we don't have. And so but when you learn to be confident and learn who you are, you stop wanting those things the same way. It's just different. There's a different take on it. So I got a couple of tasks for you. I know we're heading in almost at 10 minutes. And so these tasks are going to be for you to learn who you are. We could talk about this relationship thing a little deeper and further. But before we get into it, because I know some people out there that's like, wait a minute, I am all that in a bag of chips. And I know some people that I've had conversations with going, did she just use my information? I did. The funny thing is that nobody knows who you are. So take that to the bank. And now you know my hidden thoughts of what you were telling to me. And there are a few of you. There are about 6 of you. So that I really had to digest what you all were saying. And in that information, I took my own self back to the cutting board because I know that I am perfect in my own ways, confident about who I am, but not perfect in every way. And there are things that I need to grow from as well and learn from and become a better person. So I have this activity that I do, and I probably do it about every 2, maybe 3 years. Sometimes it stretches out a little bit further. And for those of you who are close to me, family and friends, and some people who aren't so close to me who think they know me, I've sent you all out like messages, emails, sometimes text messages, and they're just the questions of, hey, tell me what you like about me and tell me the things that you don't like about me. If I was a product on the shelf, how would you sell me? What are the changes that you would need to make me a better product? And the reason for, and then I also say, we're not going to lose friendships. I am not going to hate you. I am actually going to appreciate your honesty. Now, there's a couple of things what I'm looking for. I'm looking for consistency. I send these out at different times, and I have a deadline of which I'm looking for these things. I know that everybody's not going to respond, so I do send about 20 out, hoping to get 10 of them, 9 of them. An odd number is really good. Sometimes maybe 15, hoping for about 7 of them. And so the purpose of that is because people perceive me in ways that I can't perceive myself. I don't get to see me on a television screen in my authenticity, but other people do. They get to see my flaws, they get to see my strengths, they get to see my weaknesses. So that's your first task. I want you to go out and send out these messages, talk to people, tell them, hey, if I was a product, how would you sell me? Or what are the flaws about me, and what are the good things? What are the pros and the cons about me being a friend, being a lover, being a church member, being a co-worker? Those are the things you want to know. Please let them know there are no consequences. And people, there are no consequences. You want to know the truth about yourself. If you can't tolerate the truth about yourself, that's probably your biggest flaw. You're lacking character. All right. The second thing I want you to do is I want you to learn the things that you like and what you don't like. And sometimes we don't know those things. I have a list of them somewhere. Let me see if I can find it really fast. A bunch of stuff in this book. A bunch of stuff listed down of note papers everywhere. All right. So sometimes we just don't know who we are. And so we can lose ourselves by other people we hang around with, groups we hang around with, part of associations. We think we know ourselves and find out we really don't know. We get locked in stuff. Like I know someone who is all about Black power, but honestly they're not. It's the group that they associate, and they admire some of the things that they do, but in all actuality it's not who they really are. And so they think that they are, but there is no passion about that. And if you knew that person, then you would go, but nevertheless. So you want to get to know who you are by learning your personality. Start writing down. Maybe grab a little dollar notebook or something, or your own recorder, and start recording the things that you see about you, that you really truly like. The things you like when nobody's around. What do you like about your home? What do you like about how you live? What do you don't like? You know, what are the things about your family you admire? What are the things you don't? Let's be true to you. The only person you can lie to is you, and there ain't no gain in that. So just be completely honest. Nobody's gonna judge you for it but you. And when you're judging you, it's not to be putting yourself down. It's to learn who you are so that you can forge yourself through the fires to become stronger and greater. How do you love? You know, like, what's your love life look like? What do you want it to look like? You know, like, what is it? How does it end? Do you normally end the relationship, and why? Are you afraid? Are you afraid of commitment? Are you afraid that they'll leave you? What do they end it? And if so, why? What's consistent about it? Not what you think, but what you know. What about your health? Are you eating the way you want to eat? Are you working out? Do you like just being on the couch? People would call it lazy. If it's your thing, say I'm lazy. I like it. Whatever. I'm lazy and I don't like it. Learn exactly who you are and be consistent with who you are. It's okay to learn these things. You give yourself about a good week just to learn who you are. And what about your sex life? Do you have one? Is it personal? Like, is it intimate with just yourself? Or do you have somebody else? Have you made a choice to be celibate? And if so, how many times have you broken that? And why do you break it? What's your marriage sexual life like? Are you cheating on that somebody? And why? Are you being faithful? And why? What do you enjoy? What have you not told them about? What do you like and they don't perform? What do they like and you don't perform? I mean, you really want to engage in your sex life. I mean, in all of these areas to find out who you are. For a long time, I didn't even know a lot of the things that I enjoyed in my sex life because I thought it was bad. Just some things that I grew up hearing in my ear that I thought it was bad. I'm an adult now. I'm grown. I've learned that I can have a better sex life and I can perform things that I enjoy and not feel guilty about it and not feel like I'm going to be judged about it. So really take this serious. Your body. Do you like your body? Do you like the way it looks? Do you want to add some pounds? Do you want to lose some pounds? And even if you I want to lose weight, but I will tell you, for the most part, I think I am sexy. I am fat. I am overweight and by health standards, obese. But I think I'm cute and sexy. But I still want to lose some weight. But I'm still proud of who I am. So I want you guys to really evaluate. Am I loving my own body? Am I wanting to be someone else? Am I trying to pay for mutilation to my body to have bigger boobs or smaller boobs or whatever, and it's not a health issue? Really dig into that. I also want you to know, what kind of friend are you? I'm not the best friend. Let me be honest. I am awful at keeping up with people. I am awful with, there are so many people in my life that I feel guilty catering to one person. So I'm terrible with keeping up with my friends. It doesn't mean that I'm right. It just means that I am guilty of that. I also feel awkward sometimes because I'm moody. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to project that on other people. That is me knowing me. Are there things that I could do to make it better and enhance the friend that I could be? Absolutely. I'm making myself accountable by telling you. So learn what kind of friend you are or you're not. Learn what kind of sibling you are. You have siblings. Are you good friends to your siblings? Are you not? Are there things you want to change? Your finances. What does it look like? What do you want it to look like? Your career. Are you where you want to be? For real? And your spirituality. What's your relationship with God, if you follow God or if you don't? Are you, if you're Muslim, are you reading your Quran? Are you practicing your principles? Or if you're Jewish, are you eating pork? I'm just saying. I know somebody who's Jewish who eats pork. And so these are just things that you want to know, like, am I following? What's my standards? What's my morals? What's valuable to me? And what kind of religion life are you living? Do you go to church? Do you not go to church? And are you worshiping things other than? Are you incorporating things in your spiritual walk that you think that is okay, but it isn't? Really pay attention, because we get deceived in our spiritual walks all of the time. So what's my happiness look like? What does joy look like for me? And yeah, I mean, there are so many of these questions you really want to ask yourself. And I evaluate myself all of the time to see, am I on track with who I want to be or who I am? Or have my values changed? You know, before I had to stay slim because I was modeling or whatever. And now it's like, I don't have to stay slim for that. It's not valuable to me anymore. So, if I'm slim, it's because I want to be. I need to eat better. I need to lose weight for my health. So really pay attention to what matters to you. That's the second task. I think we should just stick with those 2 tasks. So 1, find out what people think about you. 2, we do have to incorporate the 3rd one, because while you were trying to figure out where you are now, you then have to write where you want to be. Where you are now, and then where you want to be. I like to tell people to do it a little bit backwards. Where do you want to be with all of those subjects? And then where are you at? And the reason is because sometimes we lie to ourselves a lot. And so if you put down where you're at, sometimes we believe we're where we're trying to get. But if we put down where we're trying to get to first, and then go back and say, where am I at now? Usually we can find our truth in that. All right, so those are your tasks. Remember, we're working on character, and I wish you the best.